One of the really amazing parts about the subconscious mind is its ability to learn and to learn quickly. So much so that you could learn something today and a week from now, you wouldn't even remember what it's like not to do that particular thing. And the way the subconscious mind learns is from our experience, from cause and effect. Sometimes it's in a really deliberate way where I'm practicing a new skill. Other times it's just my daily life teaches me things. As a small child, I can touch a hot stove and learn that I shouldn't do that again, or taste something that is really sweet and know to seek that out again. And so it's really amazing how we are able to change, transform, move forward, and grow. The problem is sometimes the subconscious mind learns the wrong lesson. It's either assessing what is going on incorrectly or it's working from incomplete information. When this happens, the subconscious mind stops being the engine of our growth, learning, and evolution, and instead becomes the thing that keeps us stuck. Today, we are going to continue my favorite phrase series, and we're going to talk about the phrase that I like to use to ensure that the subconscious mind is allowing us to move forward and is actually a catalyst for that, and we move from a place where it is no longer stopping us. This is Gene Monterastelli, and welcome to the Tapping Q&A podcast recorded live to tape from Williamsburg in Brooklyn. This is episode 556, originally aired May 26th, 2023. Hi, everyone. I hope this finds you well wherever you are and whatever time you're getting a chance to listen to this. Thanks for spending a little time with me today. Today, we are going to talk about how our past informs where we are standing in this moment, but how we can use that information so it is not predetermining where we are going next. Now, as we work our way through the conversation today, I'm going to be talking about and doing a little demonstration on tapping. If you are new to tapping, if you just click right up here, you will see a little bitty link right there that will teach you the basics of tapping so that you're able to join the transformation with us. Now, at the beginning, I was talking about how the subconscious mind works. And the subconscious mind is this absolutely amazing pattern creating machine. Basically, what it's doing is it's taking in the information from our environment and it's learning about what is going on. And some of that learning, particularly when we're really, really young, comes from observing the people around us. We see the adults, we see the people who are important to us in our lives, who are around us, and we see the actions that they are taking. And because they're caring for us and they are our leaders in our life at that particular point, we start to learn the lessons from what they are doing. The other way that we get super, super active in our learning process with the subconscious mind is just trial and error. I try something and I learn something from that particular thing. You know, there's the coffee shop that I go to in the morning, and I know that my interaction is going to be better with certain baristas than others because I've been in there multiple times, and I can even see myself without even thinking about it, just naturally gravitating towards particular lines because I want that experience to be better. So it's really, really a useful thing that we're constantly in this learning mode. And the other reason that we're doing all of that is we don't want to be in a circumstance where I'm having to think every single time I go to do something. You know, when I pick up my pants, I'm not thinking, what are these things and where do my body parts go into? Because I have used those pants so many times, because I've learned how to do them so effectively, I'm now in a situation where subconsciously my mind just grabs these are pants, this is the way we put on pants, and it just happens lickety-split like that. So it becomes a time and energy saving mechanism as well, because I'm not having to think every single time. The problem comes when our subconscious mind creates and learns stories that are wrong. Now, the most common way these stories are wrong is we either have a misinformed belief or we have a disproportionate belief. So fear is a perfect example. Stories that we keep in our subconscious mind about how we can be safe in the world because of cause and effect relationships. It is great that I am afraid of tigers. Tigers are very, very dangerous creatures. But as I sit here in my apartment in Brooklyn, New York, if I never left my apartment because about 9 miles away up in the Central Park Zoo, there was a tiger, that would be a disproportionate response. When I finish recording this and I head into my living room and into my kitchen and I see a little fuzzy thing scurrying across the floor and I jump on the table and I scream like a 5-year-old, That's a misinformed emotional response. The mouse isn't actually dangerous. More often it is more scared of me than I am of it. And so just because we have these stories doesn't mean that they're accurate, and it doesn't mean that they're useful. And for me, the most difficult stories that we carry to overcome are the stories that we tell about defining our circumstance. And so it would be really easy to say, oh, I just can forget the past and the past doesn't matter. The truth is, our past does matter. Because of the past choices we have made, it dictates the options we have in front of us. If I went and graduated to medical school, I have the option of being a doctor. I did not go to medical school. I do not have a medical license. Therefore, being a doctor today is not an option that I have. And so my past is informing where I am. I can do something that endears you to me, which means I have an opportunity, or I can do something in the past that offended you. Therefore, I'm much less likely to have you as a resource as I'm trying to create something new. So my past is determining my current circumstance. My past choices, my past experience, the experience of everything else happening in the world determines where I am standing right now. But just because it is determining how I'm standing here right now does not mean it is determining what comes next. And that is the mistake that the subconscious mind makes. It's really easy for the subconscious mind to go, oh, this is the pattern to this point, therefore it's going to be exactly the same as I go forward. And it's doing that as an energy-saving mechanism because it doesn't want to have to constantly think and figure out what's going on. And so it's creating these patterns, which again is a really useful thing unless the pattern is unuseful. And so I can't be in a circumstance where I can simply ignore my past because my past determines what my circumstance is in this particular moment. And at the exact same time, I can't be in a circumstance where I completely ignore it and move forward and everything is perfect and I can just do whatever I want. So there's this middle ground. There's this space that we need to be in that allows us to kind of see between those two. And so when I am tapping, it's really valuable for me to acknowledge my past. You know, go back to our buddy Milton Erickson, who said, all transformation starts by stating what is. It's impossible for me to change in a comprehensive way if I'm not aware of what is going on and where I'm at, because I don't know what I'm changing. But I want to be in a circumstance where I'm recognizing it's not predetermining where I'm going next. And so when I'm tapping, that's the reason why I love this phrase, and it does not determine what comes next. And so when I'm tapping, it looks and sounds something like, I recognize the fact that my past choices have created my current circumstance. I recognize the fact that what is happening in the world impacts where I am standing. I recognize the fact that all of my history informs how I see the world and where I'm standing right now. And then this is where we add it in. And all of this history does not determine what comes next. My past informs where I stand, which informs what I can do next. My past informs what opportunity I have, but it does not determine what comes next. I give myself permission to know that whatever my history is, I can move in the direction I want from the place that I am standing today. And so I find engaging in this way so useful because I am being honest about where I've been without being defined by it. And by being honest about where I've been, what I'm doing is I'm giving an opportunity to negotiate a little bit with my subconscious mind. So I'm not in a circumstance where I'm saying, no, subconscious mind, you're wrong, because our subconscious mind does not respond well to that, much the same way I do not respond well to when people are saying something like that to me. But instead, what we're doing is we're positioning ourselves so that we can be honest with where we've been. We can be honest with what our experience is because it shapes me. But just because it shapes me, it doesn't define what comes next. And so it makes transformation so much easier. It moves me off of unconsciously being on a rail going in one direction. Now, it is possible, as I am looking at my past and I'm seeing what's going on and my subconscious mind thinks the future looks a certain way, I can actually choose to go that certain way. I don't have to deviate from that path. But by recognizing the fact that the past informs this moment, but does not determine what comes next, gives me, and it gives my subconscious mind, permission to make new choices. So, if you are feeling stuck, if you are in a circumstance where no matter what you are trying, you keep falling back into the same old patterns, the same old thoughts, the same old actions over and over again, as you take some time to tap, don't wrestle with and fight with the past. Acknowledge the past has positioned you where you are in this moment. And I'm not even saying where you're positioned right now is great, because sometimes the moment that we are in is really, really difficult. And there are mistakes in the past that make it hard for us in this particular moment. But if we're honest with ourselves, if we acknowledge that is the reality, then what it does is it puts us into a position where it's easier and, more importantly, it's gentler for us to create that change because we're more honestly engaging with this moment. And when we're more honestly engaging with this moment, it's easier for us to be comfortable inside of our own skin. It's easier for us to move forward in a way that is natural and healthy. Now, I have two quick things for you before you go. And the second one is most important. Number one, if you are in a circumstance where you have a question about tapping or something you'd like to see us to create a video or a resource about in the future, it's really, really easy. Just drop me a note at support@tappingqna.com. Some of the best videos that we have created, some of the most useful content has come from questions from listeners just like you. Please drop us a note, leave us down in the comment, shoot me an email, let me know how I can be helpful. Number two, at the beginning, I said this was part 6 of our series on my favorite phrases. On the screen right now, you can actually see the entire playlist of the entire My Favorite Phrase series. Each one of these videos gives you a little training and a little insight into the phrases that I use every single day with my clients. So it will create transformation for you in big and small ways. Just click on that and keep watching. For Tapping Q&A, it's Gene Monterastelli. I look forward to seeing you real soon.